Hello and welcome. I'm Wise Old Tree, and this is a review of Dimension 20, Season 14, Coffin Run. Starting with an overview, Coffin Run is a live play D&D series produced by Dropout and released in summer of 2022. It's a 6-episode miniseries, with episodes averaging around 90 minutes to about 2 hours in length. Yasmin Mueller is the game master, and the players are Izzy Roland, Zach Oyama, Carlos Luna, and Erika Ishii. The setting is vampires in Transylvania, going for a classic monsters horror, but also with a comedy tone. The player characters form Dracula's entourage, who are helping their master make it back to his castle as they are beset by a barrage of bizarre bandits bullying boisterously. For my overall impressions, this season returns to the alternating roleplay and combat episodes that was common in earlier seasons of Dimension 20. However, combat also spills over into some of the roleplay episodes, and that combined with the shorter average episode length leaves this season feeling roleplay light compared to even other mini-series. But we do have full sets and miniatures again, which are awesome. I love the physicality of the sets. And this season not only delivers sets that are visually interesting, but dynamically interactive for the cast. It's great. The art design is heavy black and white tone with occasional splashes of color that feel very setting appropriate. Jasmine Buhler is the third guest game master on Dimension 20, and Coffin Run is the second season in which Brennan Lee Mulligan is not involved, or at least he's not part of the cast. Jasmine is a newcomer to Dimension 20, while the cast of players have all been in at least one season prior to this one. Jasmine is adequate as the GM, but not everything in her performance this season totally works for me. She uses letters to the players as a mechanical device for storytelling throughout the season, something that seems like it pleased the players, but as an audience member doesn't play quite as well when there's information that we, the audience, aren't privy to. The NPC roster for the season also feels a bit light, although that could just be the setting or the generally low roleplay time for the season. Overall, I think she's fine and the story is fine, but I was never wowed in the same way I am with Brennan, or felt like she had a strong command of direction of play in the same way that Abria Iyengar does as GM. This season and Shriek Week, along with future season of Never After, all feel like they were different interpretations of the same prompt. Do something with monsters and horror. Shriek Week's season made the more interesting decisions in its concept. New game system and forego any real horror to lean more into the comedy and a monster dating sim. But then the season falls on its face in the execution. Coffin Run, by contrast, makes maybe the more boring decisions. Classic monsters and Dracula using D&D 5e, but at least Coffin Run delivers on what it promises. If you want vampires and Dracula and everything that comes with that, Coffin Run is there for you. My standout player this season is Izzy Roland, playing Dr. Alexander Ostovsky. In a world of vampires, the distinctly not a vampire human mad scientist type character is something that is simultaneously different and yet feels like it fits in perfectly. Izzy is a natural fit for the manic energy needed for a character like this, with the chaos in decision making that is Izzy as a player, reflecting well in the quote unquote madness of the character that she's portraying. As for a rating, I'm going to give season 14 of Dimension 20 Coffin Run a 2 out of 5. I was a little torn between giving this season a 2 or a 3, but I'm trying to avoid half ratings, which secretly makes the scale a 10-point system, and realized by looking at my past ratings that I didn't really like this season as much as anything else that I rated at a 3. Ultimately, there's nothing in this season that really made me mad or frustrated, but there's nothing that really grabbed my attention either. I don't think this season hits horror particularly well, although I'm not sure it's really trying to. Instead, leaning towards a comedic season with a monster slash horror aesthetic. Neither horror nor vampires are genres I'm particularly into, but I do feel like if you're into either one, and especially if you like vampires or the classic Dracula aesthetic, you're likely to find more enjoyment from this season. All right, that's all for now. Thank you for watching, and see you next time for Season 15, A Court of Fae and Flowers.